on Twitch. On Twitch TV.
Twitch.tv.
Twitch.tv. Yeah, we're good. I think we're there. Okay, let me get this back up. What just happened? What do you... Hell yeah, dude. Thanks, man. Perfect. All right, I guess we'll just end the stream then. That's all we need.
That's all it is. That's Went Friends, guys.
That's Went Friends. We just gotta stuff aside. Oh, dude, that's hilarious. It looked like Wolf was in here. Was he waiting on us?
He might have been.
That's funny. That's funny. I don't have a proper setup for waiting for the live noti to go out, but you know what? I think we just kind of start talking a little bit.
Yeah, let's go.
Dude, it's another episode of When's Friends. This was Cyanide pushing me to actually do it again. To be honest, he's like, hey, man.
It was mostly for you to start streaming again.
Yeah, right? Just give me the reason to. That's why I streamed on last Sunday. Steve, what's up? Comp, how's it going, lads? We're doing When's Friends. We got Cyanide on. We got the guy that we've all really been waiting for to be on this thing. So we're here. Steve, Comp, how you doing, lads? L plus ratio, that's how you're doing? That's all right, man. That's all right. That'll work. That'll work. But dude, I'm actually super stoked to have you on here, and thank you for pushing me to do this again too.
Oh, for sure. I've been wanting to do this for so long.
Yeah, right. I know.
It just never really lined up the way we wanted it to.
You're right, but now we both kind of have weekends off, so it worked out now.
It worked fine. Yeah, it works fine now.
Got the power couple on today. Yeah, there you go. Exactly, Comp. Exactly, dude. Okay, what I like to start these out with is generally like just kind of asking people about their experiences with Twitch, because realistically, that's where a lot of us have met each other and know each other from.
Right.
So for you, dude, like what even brought you to Twitch in the first place? Like, because you've had a Twitch account for a while.
So when I first started my Twitch account, it was I think the end of 2014. And I was really big into Rainbow Six Siege.
Oh.
And I really wanted to watch somebody play it I really wanted to watch people play it live. So I was like, God, I was looking around and YouTube didn't really have very many Siege streamers. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go over to Twitch. Twitch had a bunch of them, and I found a lot of great people through that. Watched it for a couple years and then kind of like fell out of Twitch.
Okay.
And then I was away for Twitch for maybe like 3 or 4 years, and then came back because I wanted to get better at Rocket League. And actually, that's where I met Wolf, was through the stream that I went to when I came back to Twitch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Bauer, what's up, man?
And the guy, he was a full-time streamer at the time, and he was streaming on a day that he normally didn't stream. He was making up a day that he missed.
Okay, yeah.
So it was all by chance that like I was like, one day I randomly decided, I want to get better at Rocket League, and so that's ultimately what brought me back to Twitch.
Okay.
And
okay, wait. So then was Wolf one of your first like real connections?
Yeah, we didn't actually connect for a while. Like, he was a mod in this channel that I went to.
Oh.
And yeah, he was a mod there, and we didn't really connect for a while. I was kind of really quiet in chat because I've been away from Twitch for so long, and it was just really quiet. There's a lot of people there.
That's fair, man. Rock, what's up, man? Mel, how's it going? Good to see you guys. Yeah, we got Cyanide on. Right? Are we excited? Mel, why? Oh, there's Wolf. There's Wolf. Don't mind me. Twitch didn't update me while I was waiting. What, it didn't update you about what? That we were live, or just didn't update? It's okay, Mel. It's okay. You can have your freakouts. But no, that's awesome. That's awesome. And then so then from when you were kind of involved with Twitch to deciding to stream, how did that happen? How did that transition happen?
That actually also starts with Wolf as well. Wolf, Easy, Fuzzy, they all started up their streams, or Fuzzy streamed with Wolf at the time. They're a co-streamer.
Oh, I never knew they co-streamed.
Yeah, they streamed off of Wolf's account.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's really cool. So they all started streaming, and I was like, it looks like a lot of fun. I think I want to do it. And my first stream was a Rocket League stream, and it was like 45 minutes, but like I had so many people come in. It was the greatest. It was one of my best streams today.
Wait, really?
It was my very first. Yeah,
Wait,
one of my best streams today.
Was it because you had a bunch of connections already, and then they all came to watch you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had networked for a solid year before I started streaming. Like I had a lot of people that were just like there. It was great.
Yeah, those ones are the best. Those are the best when somebody who's done all that networking finally starts streaming. It's so exciting too.
Oh, it was so much fun. Like,
yeah, no, for sure. Those ones are the greatest. And honestly, that is one thing that I think you do amazingly is your ability to network with people, build those connections. You just do. You put in the effort, and you make it seem effortless.
and it's less networking anymore. It's more like I want just to surround myself with great people, and that's kind of what I do anymore. Before it was like I just want to be in a bunch of people's streams and like watch Rocket League and stuff, you know.
Yeah, I get that. Takio, Log, what's up? Ollie, what the fuck? Sorry for the interruption. It's okay. Thank you for the sub, man. How's it going, lads? How's it going? We're having a When's Friends episode. This happening is courtesy of Cyanide, like 90%. So we're back. And I mean, you know what? He's the guy we always wanted on, like I said. Okay, so then with you talking about you starting your streaming and stuff like that, like you've streamed for quite a while, off and on here and there, but overall fairly consistently. Like, how has that whole experience been? What do you feel like is the biggest challenge that comes with being a streamer and with trying to continue to stream regularly?
Easily the hardest thing is about being consistent is watching is when you're consistent, you want to watch your numbers occasionally, right? Mm-hmm. Every consistent streamer will. They'll tell you not to because it's toxic to yourself, but they do. Everybody does. It's just the way it works. And when you're consistent and you're watching your numbers go up and then all of a sudden just die, it's really, really discouraging.
Yeah, it's super discouraging. It freaking sucks.
That's probably the greatest challenge is battling that discouragement and actually like being like, there's no, because when you go through that, you're like, well, there's no point in me streaming. Like, you got to battle that thought. It's such a toxic mindset to have to go through that. But
yeah, honestly, you're totally
my experience
right.
of streaming though has been phenomenal. I've had such great support since the very beginning, and even on my like low days, I still, I'm still averaging the numbers that some people never see, and I will forever be grateful for it. Like, I always have somebody in the stream that's always wanting to talk and willing to participate, and it's a great feeling.
Yeah, definitely it is. Definitely it is, man. And like that's one thing about streaming is even if you have that one person who you're connecting with, I mean, that's what it's really all about. And that's why, you say it's not really networking anymore. It's about surrounding yourself with really cool people. I mean, even when you're the streamer and you're connecting with those people in your chat, it's just that same thing. And a lot of times it's not about the numbers. Because for me too, man, I struggle with that. With being like, yeah, I don't care about the viewership. No, I don't. And then you have a slow stream and it affects you.
Yeah. Well, and I think a big part of it is like when you're used to an audience and you don't have an audience, it just makes the streams boring. Like in my opinion, like I can't stream to nobody. Like my stream suffers so much when I have nobody to talk to.
Yeah, that's the hard part too, man.
Yeah.
I know, dude. And like, especially when you have those periods of time when your stream is a little bit more active, you become reliant on the back and forth between you and the chatters, right? And then when it's quiet,
you kind of lose how to like stream to one or two people.
Yeah, absolutely.
It becomes a difficult thing for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Homo, what's up, man? Good to see you. Thanks for popping in here. A little episode of When's Friends, but okay, what was I gonna say with that? Oh, in those moments though, like what do you tell yourself to like keep going or to stick with it? How do you combat those negative thoughts?
It's more of like, I need to keep doing this and it'll change. It always does.
Mm-hmm.
because it's not gonna. It's not gonna die down forever. And realistically, I'm always thinking about the future.
Yeah.
It's the bet. You can't focus on what's going on right now. In my thoughts,
Yeah.
Focusing on now is never. When something's going wrong, focusing on what's happening now is not my best way to deal with it. So
That's interesting.
I always focus on what's next. Yeah.
That's really interesting, because I think some people might say the opposite, right? And that you just need to kind of experience what is now. But being future oriented too isn't necessarily a bad thing, because it means that there's a lot of room for positive change in the future. Meeps, what's up, dude? Cyanide's future is bright. Yeah, I know. I agree. Wolf.
When's gonna make it big if he keeps up with streaming?
Oh,
I've said it from the beginning. I'll keep saying it.
But okay. So you say that. Now the struggle is keeping up with streaming. Like, how do you feel like you've been able to strike that balance between real life responsibilities and showing up to stream and spending the time that it takes to be a streamer?
Everything I do is just kind of random, to be honest. Like, I don't really have any plans.
Okay.
When I do go live, it's like, oh, I could probably go live right now, and I just do. I don't really have a set time or schedule. It's just kind of all random. But there are times where I'm just like, I have to do this at a certain time if I want to stream at this point in time, and it's all different. It really, it's all circumstantial.
Yeah.
Because
that's not a bad thing, though. Like, it's not, right? Because sometimes that set schedule is too much pressure. Hi, Bean Slayer, does someone want to vet that link? Just to see what it is, because that's the first time chatting and they just posted a YouTube link. Sus, Bean. Sus. How's it going? Welcome. Maybe spending too much time on TikTok recently? Yeah, me too. Today was a TikTok day.
I think that's everybody at the moment. Like,
right?
It's a very consuming app.
Wait,
for sure.
Just like as a little side note though, like, what side of TikTok do you find yourself on? Because like, I'm like punk talk, like lots of pop punk stuff.
There's so many. So right now it's baby talk, because my wife sends me a lot of baby stuff on TikTok.
Oh yes, Bean, thank you for the follow, buddy.
Rocket League, Apex, the two games that I mainly play, and a bunch of stupid humor.
That's so funny.
Like a bunch of really dumb humor.
Yeah,
it's very consuming for me.
Yeah, no doubt, dude, no doubt. Okay, so the baby talk then. Let's just touch on that a little bit, because you got a kiddo on the way. It's approaching. How does that feel as someone who's future oriented? What does that mean to you right now?
I'm so excited to meet it.
Yeah.
Mainly, I'll always have something to do. I always have a goal to reach, because I'm very goal oriented as well as future oriented. When I reach a goal, I don't dwell on it. I go towards the next one. That's just kind of who I am.
Okay.
And I will always have a goal with being a dad, right? Like, raise my kid to the best of my ability. That's going to be number one, obviously. So I'm so excited to always have something to look forward to.
Yeah. No, and that's fair, man. And that's the thing with that, is that once you become a dad, it's the rest of your life is part of that identity, right? It's just seeing your kid go through the stages of life. So there's always something to look forward to there. So that's super exciting in that sense.
Yeah, and for somebody like me, I cannot wait for all of it. Like,
man, that's super exciting. What do you imagine is going to be the biggest challenge for you personally in becoming a dad?
Dirty diapers. I have the weakest stomach. I have the weakest stomach in the world. Dirty diapers is gonna it's gonna be awful.
Oh no, dude. Honestly, becoming a parent will solve that for you. I'm sure it might suck for the first few weeks, but you're gonna battle through. Oh, that's so funny.
Dirty diapers, because just I have the weakest stomach out of anybody I know, so it's gonna be rough.
You might have a couple of moments where you accidentally puke on the kiddo a little bit.
Oh, it'll definitely happen at least once. I'm not gonna let my wife know, but it'll happen.
Oh, that's so funny, dude. Ollie says he'll come change diapers and babysit. Yeah, there you go. That could be your full-time job.
There you go. You just come up here. It's easy.
What did Bauer say? Prepare for those first ones that are black tar. At least they don't stink. Oh no, that's awful. Oh god, dude, I hate that. I hate that a lot.
I don't know how I'm gonna deal with the first blowout. Like that's just. Yeah. Like my wife asked me before we were trying to have children. So what are you gonna do if our baby has a blowout? And like I faked that I was picking something up and I started walking towards the trash can. And she did not think it was as funny as I did, but I thought it was hilarious.
Oh, dude, that is so funny. I'm sure you'll handle it. I'm sure you'll handle it well, but I need updates on that, on the progress of that. That's where the most personal growth is coming from, is in the future here. Oh man, that's super funny. Okay, so like one last question around streaming and Twitch and stuff, because it's not all about that. But like, what do you feel like? You have a kid on the way, you know, you've just stepped into a new role at work. What space do you feel like streaming holds in your life in the near future?
It'll bring normalcy. Like it'll make things normal for me at the time where it's not, you know, I'm so used to streaming anymore that it's normal for me to do. So yeah, with everything changing in my life at this point in time, it'll hold me to myself.
Yeah, no, and that makes a lot of sense, man. It becomes this thing that is almost a sense of grounding a little bit, right? You know, it's a little bit of, yeah, like you said, when everything is changing, you always have going to stream to kind of bring you back down a little bit. Yeah,
that's what I'm hoping anyways.
yeah, fair enough, dude. Fair enough. I'm sure it'll help a little bit. Appointment for testosterone on the 28th. That is huge, Ollie. Huge, dude.
Oh, let's go.
Right? Damn. I'm super stoked for you there too. Talk about changes for all of us.
Yeah, dang. Definitely. That's awesome.
I like that a lot. Okay, so then we're talking about, for you, you know, you are entering new stages of life in a lot of ways, currently having stepped into some and then in the process of getting ready to step into others. Given all of that, what would you title this chapter in your life?
This last one, to title it as success, just straight up success. Last 5 years I've done everything I've set out to do.
Really?
And yeah.
What did that roadmap look like?
Well, it started off with failure after high school. I tried to join the military and was deemed that I was too much of a liability because of my disability.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of lost at that point in my life, and I was bouncing around a couple jobs here and there before I found what I'm doing now. Got married, bought a house. I'm having a child, which is the rest of the goals that I've set out to do, and it's just nothing but success, and I couldn't be any more like happy with what I've done up to this point.
Oh, dude, that is so awesome. I love that. You're checking off the checklist in the best way. Like, there is actually so much that you have accomplished so far, and still being young. Like, you own property too. Like, I can't even imagine owning property at any point in my life, but look at you go. It's pretty impressive, man. It is pretty impressive. I want to touch, because you had mentioned your disability. Can we like touch on that a little bit? Expand upon like what it is, and then
for sure,
more specifically, I guess, how you feel like it's affected who you are and how you go about your day-to-day life.
Yeah, definitely. So for those of you guys who don't know, I was born with a neurological disorder. It's called dystonia. it affects everybody differently, but I have dystonia type number 2. So I walk with a limp. It affects the left side of my body. I walk with a limp, and my left arm and hand don't work as well as they should. I grew up with being told I couldn't do anything. Doctors told me I wouldn't be able to walk when I was a baby.
Wow.
Told me I shouldn't play sports. I was in football, baseball, and I wrestled for 8 years apiece. It's just, I've overcome a lot in my life to be where I'm at now, and I definitely wouldn't be who I am without my disability.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have had to go through all those trials, and it would have been so much easier without it. In my opinion, it would have been easier without it.
I mean, probably, right?
But it also changes where I'm at now, at this moment. If I didn't have a disability, I would be in the military. I might not still be with my wife. I wouldn't be owning a home I know for a fact I wouldn't own a home. And I probably wouldn't be where I'm at right now. Mm-hmm. It's just, so the fact that I have a disability has led me exactly where I'm at, and I wouldn't be the same without it. So
yeah, no, that's honestly a great point, man. It's that those small butterfly effect things that, you know, in those moments that look like they're not awesome and that they there's no silver lining, you know, there kind of is, right? And like you already touched on that, and like it was like, I'm sure for you at the time a little bit crushing to be rejected from the military because of your disability, but you know, look where it's led you.
It was a very painful realization that because that was the first time that I actually couldn't do something because of my disability.
Interesting, man. That's so. Steve says serving your country ain't where it's at anyways. Okay. But like, yeah, it's really, for one, super funny to me how you and I are so similar in a lot of ways in terms of how
it's really scary. To be honest, how similar we are.
I know, right? Like it's totally, because I have cerebral palsy, left side of my body. It's like I've had to adapt to everything. It affected how I felt like I could play sports, right? So that's so funny that it's different, but it's not. What I want to like quickly also touch on is like with dystonia. How do you know exactly how it presents in your brain to cause your disability in itself?
At one point I did, but that was like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And I only learned it because I was having the brain surgery to correct it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I have a battery in my chest, a wire in my neck, 2 electrodes in the right side of my brain.
What?
Yeah. And it was working. I was starting to walk without my limp a little bit. And then I slipped and hit my head at work when I worked at Applebee's. And one of the leads migrated a millimeter, and it stopped working.
What?
Yeah. That was a very heartbreaking moment in my life, because they have it shut off now because they couldn't go in and take it out and replace the lead. They couldn't migrate. They couldn't move the lead back, because they didn't know if it was damaged. They couldn't tell with the x-rays if it was damaged. So if they tried to pull it out, it could cause a brain bleed.
What?
And I was just like, no, I'm okay. We'll just leave, the dead technology.
Whoa, dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I freak out TSA.
Yeah, I bet. You straight up have a battery in your chest. That is like, that's the one thing that TSA is not okay with.
Yeah, they do not like it.
Dude, that's crazy. I didn't know that. That's so what? It must have been such a big adjustment, I guess, physically and like mentally after that accident.
Yeah,
right?
It was like physically, I really didn't notice much, but mentally, it took a lot on. It put a lot of toll on me. It definitely, it was like everything was going right, and then it just was so wrong, and it was just, it felt backwards to me. And
Yeah.
I,
no
I
kidding.
actually I got over it a lot quicker than I thought I would have, because like normally I'm like, yeah, okay, that happened. Let's move on to the next thing. Like I don't like to dwell on things, but this I dwelled on it for a while, and I didn't know if I was ever gonna get over it because I had given up football for it and wrestling because I couldn't do contact sports with the battery.
Oh yeah.
And at the time, football was my whole life. Like I dedicated everything to football.
Jeez, man.
So it was a big decision for me to give up football to have the surgery. And when it stopped working, I felt like I just threw everything away, you know?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was real heartbreaking, but I got over it really fast, actually. Within the 2 months of it happening, like I was just like, okay.
You were all right with it. So then where did you find that meaning then, I guess, in that moment? Because it was like you had found your meaning, you had found some identity in playing sports, in wrestling and football, and then you decided that, you know, it was better off to get the surgery to have things be a little bit more corrected physically.
Right.
Where did the meaning come from that allowed you to move on after that? Do you know? Can you identify it?
It was more or less of like discovering the meaning, like accepting it. Like, yeah, it happened and there's nothing I can change it. It's better to move on than to dwell on it. Because if I dwelled on it, I was just going to become a very dull person.
Yeah, very, very true. So do you think that's one thing that's led you to be more future oriented, or do you feel like you've always been somebody who is inclined to be that way?
I think that's about when it started. Yeah, it's when I started looking more towards the future on everything that's going on. Because when I was a kid, I didn't know what the future held. I would never know.
Yeah.
So, and before that, you know, I was pretty much a kid. I was 16 when I had the surgery, and I was 17 when I slipped and fell. So, I was just a kid then.
Yeah, dude. No kidding. Hey.
No. So, kidding. Yeah, it was just, you know, looking towards the future and being, deciding that it would be better than what's going on now.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. And I you know what? I like that mentality too. Because sometimes, yeah, when our present is not going super well, that is the best way to motivate ourselves to step out of that and work towards the things that are going to really serve us, for sure. I'm fanboying out right now, honestly, Wolf. Like, seriously, these are some things I didn't even know about Cy. It's just so like, thank you for sharing this with us, man.
There's a lot of stuff that I choose not to.
Crystal Cy. Crystal raided us. What? With the party of 10, Crystal, thank you for that raid. Holy cow. Cy's modding while he's literally the guest. Thank you, buddy. Oh, Crystal. You guys go follow Crystal. She's incredible. I think she was playing Phasmophobia. She is just a sweetheart. Very relaxing voice. Just makes you feel happy. And she's great. Also has one of the greatest emotes around. Crystal and gang, we're doing a When's Friends. This is a podcast style part of this stream where we have people from the community on and we discuss what makes them who they are. And right now, Cyanide is out here talking about his dystonia, a surgery that he had to help correct it, how that surgery got reversed because of an accident, and the meaning that we find coming out of that and that he found coming out of that. And so far, I am wildly engrossed with what Cy has to say. Cy is like, he's so much. For one, he could have none of these stories and be one of the greatest people, but he's like so much more interesting than he lets on too. Like it's
there's a lot I don't tell people, and it's not like the lack of like me not wanting people to know about me, because I do. I definitely do. I want people to know like as much as they can without like giving away myself, like my own identity, you know. But yeah, it's I'm definitely open book. So anybody can almost ask me almost anything and I'll answer it. So
I love that about you, and I think it's a super great quality to be willing to be open to. But I also like that. You're not just always openly like, you know, feeding feeding it to people, being like, hey, all these things, because some people just don't stop talking about themselves. And you know how Ruddy has like the who asked emote? Sometimes there's people
Such a good emote.
it's too much, buddy.
It works so well with like so many situations. It's so good.
Oh my god. But yeah, there's some people who you just want to be dropping that emote in their metaphorical chat in life. But I think you find a really good balance of being somebody who is super willing to be open, but also like giving space for other people to share who they are, right? And it's that back and forth of real connection between people. So I think you find that balance really, really nicely. But yeah, no, that's super cool, man. And thank you for sharing about like your experience with dystonia, because for me, my cerebral palsy, I feel like I let it stop me a lot in a lot of ways, especially when it comes to sports and things like that. I didn't really, I wasn't willing to be, I realized this in myself, but I wasn't willing to be bad at something, especially when it came to something like sports, because I felt maybe a little bit too different in that moment. But we all have to be bad at something that we're trying to be good at to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's bad at everything till they're not. That's my motto. Yeah. You're bad at something till you're not.
Yeah, right? It's true. And it's that way for all of us. But for me, I was like, oh, I'm bad at this because I have cerebral palsy. Let's just quit. Which, you know, it's parts of regret for me in reflecting on growing up. But it sounds like you, in a lot of ways, didn't let it stop you. And like, that's pretty inspirational, man, from this perspective.
A lot of that comes from my dad growing up. So my dad had a saying. He used to tell me all the time, "You're not handicapped. You're capable of doing everything you want to do."
Well, yeah, dude.
And so that's exactly what I've lived my life by. Is I'm not handicapped. I'm capable of doing everything.
Yeah, shit, dude. That's incredible. That is incredible. So, yeah. Amen to that. You gotta have that on the wall.
Trust and believe. I know my limits. I've learned my limits over these years, but I don't let it stop me from trying. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, for sure, and I think that's the important thing, right? Is that to being open to failure too.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. No. Absolutely. That is incredible, man, and I'm stoked you shared that part of it, that part of your life with us. I guess talking about pushing yourself through challenge and the prospect of failure, where do you feel like, looking back upon maybe the last couple years of your life, maybe even most of your life, what area and what moment in life brought the most personal growth for you?
Oh, definitely these last maybe earlier. I would say these last 5 years, but I think right around like junior high school area. Because before high school, I was a very angry child. You know,
interesting.
A lot of children with disability tend to be. They're wondering why. They're frustrated with what's going on with them, and I was very angry about everything. Mm-hmm. You know, the world that pissed me off, essentially.
Yeah, you were wrong from the start.
In high school, freshman year of high school, like all that anger was just gone. I wasn't as angry all the time, and it was like night and day. Like I came back from summer, and it was just complete night and day. Like I was who I am now.
Huh.
And I was gonna say the last like 10 years, but it's realistically earlier than that.
Yeah. So what was the catalyst for that change? Do you know?
I honestly couldn't tell you. It was kind of like a light switch flipped, and it was just, I was just happier than I had ever been, and that hasn't changed.
No, I like that, man. I like that a lot. And like, you know what? Sometimes that growth it's not easy to identify. I mean, I think we just grow as we experience, you know, we spend each day occupying our own body and living with our own brain. And we learn to just kind of live as best as we can with what we have.
Right. And I think a lot of it comes from like me realizing that no, now that I think about it, I can tell you what happened. I got diagnosed.
Oh shit! You weren't diagnosed prior to that?
Nope, I was undiagnosed till I was 13 years old.
Holy shit! Okay,
Yep.
that's a game changer.
So yeah, now that I think about it, that would be exactly what would change it. I finally had an answer to what was wrong.
Yeah. Wow, dude. Yeah, no kidding. Because before I understand the anger at that point because it's in that not knowing. That's the hard part for sure, dude.
So I finally had an answer to my to everything to myself. You know,
Yeah.
that final thing that was like, okay, what's wrong, and finally had an answer to. I think that's what did it.
Yeah, no kid. So, like, leading up to that, were you always experiencing, like, were you going to doctors and, like, getting tests and things like that, and nobody had an answer? Or,
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I've been to all the top specialists in the United States. Um, and it took me going to the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota for a guy to look at me for 5 minutes and tell me what I have.
wow.
Like it was just mind blowing. He sat there, he watched me walk, and he was like, has he been tested for dystonia? And I was like, I don't believe so. And he was like, he has dystonia.
Oh my gosh. Wow,
It
dude.
was
That's crazy. Well, because you're the first person that I know that has had dystonia. I don't think I've heard of it prior to you talking
yeah,
about it.
it's not a common disorder. And if people do have it, it's very minute and it doesn't get diagnosed. So
Right. Right. On the spectrum of how it can present, are you on the higher end of it presenting or over the low end? Do you know?
I'm on. Okay, so this is gonna sound weird. I'm on a low end, but for a different reason.
Oh.
So dystonia, it could be malignant until like late 20s to early 30s in life, and then it'll start showing symptoms and signs of it.
Oh.
Mine have been present since birth. Like I'm in the 0.07 percentile for dystonia.
Wow.
I'm an anomaly in my own disorder, and an already pretty rare disorder.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
No kidding.
and now that I'm older, I could realize how lucky I am that it has been happening since birth, because I've learned to deal with the pain and everything that goes along with it, versus 25 to 35 where it shows up and like there are people who can't walk up the stairs because it hurts so bad.
Wait, so is there physical pain associated with it for you?
Not anymore. Just my pain tolerance is through the roof now because of it. But when I was a kid, it was constant leg cramps, and my leg would lock up on me and I couldn't walk for a day or two because of it.
Oh, wow.
And it happens when dystonia first starts coming on. This constant cramping, locking up. There are people with stationary dystonia where they can't like move their arms, like their arms are stuck in a weird position.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Dude.
it's a very terrible disorder.
No kidding. Hey, wow, man.
And I can't think of how lucky I am for it to show up as early as it did. If I had to have it, I would rather it be present since birth than later on in life.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no kidding too. And especially because you've spent your lifetime adapting to it, right? Whereas
right.
like
I've had 25 years to deal with it. Some people have weeks after after it happens to realize what's going on.
Man, that is crazy. So for you, is it like, can it progress? Can it degenerate, or is it what it is?
It can progress and degenerate. Mine has been pretty stationary.
Okay.
But at any moment I could wake up and not be able to walk.
And is there like anything that you can specifically do to combat that, or try to,
Since it's a neurological disorder, there's nothing really I can do about it. right now, we talked about it before stream. I've been going to the gym, and I'm really focusing on upper body mainly.
Okay.
Because if I were to wake up tomorrow and not be able to walk or use my legs, I'd want to be able to push myself around in a wheelchair and
Right.
take care of myself still.
Yeah, no, and that's honestly, that's a really good motivation. That is awesome. And so wait, when you're at the gym, is there a part of you that has to like focus more on using your left side?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. So I don't do I do dumbbell workouts, because then I could focus on my right side and then work on my left side. So like I segment my workouts to like specifically force my left side to work.
That makes sense. That's why I'm the same way. Because like I will naturally use my right side if I don't focus on using my left side, and I don't want to create like an imbalance because of that.
Right. I do it all the time, like it constantly. I just think it's it's second nature.
Yeah.
You pick up the slack from your left side with your right, and that's just how it goes with me as well.
Yeah. Wow. Super, super interesting, huh? I like that. You're constantly trying to adapt to it too, and challenging yourself in those ways. So I think it's really cool that you're doing that. What? Okay. So I guess we've talked about the things, the times in life when, you feel like you've taken an L, I guess, rejected from the military. You've had an accident that reversed, all of the things that you were looking forward to in terms of finding a little bit of solace in what you've been going through, and having given up other things for that. We've talked about how you're more future oriented, and that helps you, continue on forward. But is there any other ways that you pick yourself back up after you've fallen? Is there any habits? Is there any things that you like to do to help bring you back around when you've fallen or taken those L's?
It's more or less me brushing stuff off and like moving on from it as fast as I can.
Okay.
I'm not a big person on dwelling on stuff like that. So it's really come back to bite me a few times, as I don't let myself feel what's going on at that point. And it's probably the worst part about being future minded, but I've learned a few things, and I've learned to push past those moments.
Right. No, and that makes sense. So I think that's really cool, and I think that's awesome. And that I think it speaks to that idea of resilience, and how like almost everything that we do in terms of the success we find in life comes down to just being a resilient person. And I think that's a full expression of that for you. Do you feel like, though, you had kind of mentioned it, do you feel like it ever kind of leads you to be out of touch with your emotions in those moments?
100%. When stuff goes wrong, I kind of just shut down and like put my head down and drive through it. And back to like being a dull person, I kind of become a dull person when life hits me, and I'm trying to just push past it.
Interesting. So in that, I guess you're putting up kind of emotional defense mechanisms to get through.
Yeah, it's just walls.
Yeah. I mean, we all have experience with putting walls up in one place or another emotionally. But then are you just like less expressive kind of thing when you say that you're dull, or how does that work for you?
Less expressive. I just do what I need to do and be done with it. And I don't try to go out of my way to do extra stuff like I would normally.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's very dull and very boring.
Do you feel like is there times when that's gotten in the way of you streaming too?
Oh yeah, for sure. When I took my break last year, that was like, off and on for like 6 months. Mm-hmm. I don't know exactly what had happened, but I'd hit an emotional wall, and I just shut down. And I was around people's chats a lot less at the time. I was streaming a lot less. I just kind of shut myself away, and it hurt when I finally came through, where I kind of like realized what I've been doing, and you know, it definitely like helped snap me out of that. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, and that makes sense. What do you think brought you out of it? Like, could you identify anything to that, or do you think it was just having been in it for so long, you naturally wanted out?
I think that's what it was. I wanted to change what was going on because I wasn't happy with what I was doing. Um, you know, people on Twitch are some of my best friends,
Yeah.
and shutting them out was just like one of the worst things I could do.
Yeah, for
So,
sure, for sure. Do you find, I guess, with being a streamer, and there are those times when we're like networking and things like that to help grow our stream and our ability to connect with other people. If you're not streaming yourself, do you sometimes lose a motivation to just be on Twitch and in chats, or are they separate entities for you?
but they're definitely separate entities because I was a viewer first. That's what I was for years. It was just a viewer on Twitch. I was one of the chatters, so it's definitely a separate entity for me, and it's less networking for myself and networking for everybody else for me now, um, because of my inconsistencies. I'm more pushing towards making a big group of friends that all support each other.
Yeah, yeah, and you've done an incredible job of that, man. Like, you really have. Again, I tell you this all the time, but you're like one of the standout connections in terms of the community that surrounds you. And like, when I was first kind of accepted into that, it was just it was crazy. I was kind of blown away by the community that you had built and become a part of with everybody else. A part of doing that too, but like, I was blown away by that. It was my first real experience on Twitch with actually having that. So
Yeah, it's definitely taken a lot of time and effort to build those people around me, and
yeah, for sure.
it's not just my time or my effort. There's a lot of people that are a part of that too. So
Definitely.
I'm not here taking all the credit for it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people in the community that help build the community, and I'm really grateful for it.
Yeah, I think you gravitated the right people towards you too, right? And you've collected a group of pretty incredible people, in part because of who you are and because of who they are too. Dio, what's up, man? How's it going? Good to see you. Little Wins Friends action. Little Dio action. Been a while, Dio. It's been a while. How you doing, buddy? I guess, okay, for one, I want to ask you, if you feel like a little more of an existential question, do you feel as though, each of us has a unique purpose in life? And if so, do you feel like you could identify what yours is?
We all have something pushing us, right? Like, it's all we all have our own goals and dreams, and what we need to achieve in life, and mine is to surround myself with as many amazing people as I can, because in the end, you're only as lonely as the people around you.
Oh, well, that's an interesting way to look at that.
And I grew up with a very lonely childhood. I isolated myself because of my disability. I ain't gonna say it's not, and I don't want to. I don't ever want to be that way again. I want to have people around me all the time. And
I can very much see that. What kind of led you to isolate yourself? Was that self-inflicted, do you feel, or?
It was more, I got made fun of and beat up a lot in elementary school because of my disability.
You got beat up because of your disability?
Yeah, my brother put a stop to that pretty quick though.
That's so fucked. Okay.
They stopped doing it after my brother slammed a dude through a sink.
What the shit?
Yeah, put him through a sink at school because he was beating me up. So my brother put a stop to that in like third grade, but it was more like getting made fun of, and that kind of isolated myself and shut myself away. So realized I didn't want to live like that, so I went out and made as many friends as I could, many quality friends as I could, because
Yeah.
I have a lot of acquaintances, but I wouldn't call a lot of people friends. You know?
Yeah, and very that's very true. I think the people who we really do call friends, it takes some time to find those people because, you know, there are those small things that we just. It's rare to find true connections between people, but when you seek to build them, you do find them. And again, you've done such a good job of doing that.
I've met so many wonderful people through Twitch.
Isn't it crazy, man? It is crazy how good of a connection piece Twitch is in terms of just discovering connections that you literally never would have otherwise.
I was talking to Easy, I believe, a couple months ago about like my start on Twitch again, like after I come back. I was like, it's crazy how many people I've met through people that I would have never met otherwise. Like, if I didn't meet someone through a specific person, I would have never met them.
Yeah.
I'm and that goes back into you're only as lonely as the people around you. Hey, like,
Yeah.
if everybody around you is really lonely, you're going to be lonely yourself.
Yeah.
And I've always pushed towards, you know, meeting as many people as I can and making a quality connection with them.
Yeah. You do a good job of that too, though. You're just such a good chatter. Like, the one thing that stands out to me with you as a chatter is how much you recognize the other people in chat as much as you do the streamer. Because some people are just there wanting the attention of the streamer kind of thing, but you're there as the glue guy, basically, to pull everyone else together.
I almost talk more to the chat than the streamer when I'm in people's streams. So.
That's so great. That's so great. Fuzzy, hello, welcome. This is such a good hoodie, right? Great hoodie for a great dude. I got this sticker on my water bottle too.
I'm glad your hoodie like turned out, your blue logo hoodie, because I ordered samples of it.
Yeah. And
the logo is all faded on every piece of hoodie, on every piece of logo I bought. I was so upset.
Dude, that sucks. Because this was Teespring merch, right? Or was it?
Yeah. It was Teespring.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was really upset, but they're like, we can send you another one. I was like, then I kind of looked at it. It was like, well, no, now it's like its own thing. Like, it's one of a kind. And
now it's collector's edition.
Yeah, now it's collector's edition because I made it so.
That's so funny, dude. No, that's great though. But you have like such good merch too. Like, how many pieces of your own merch do you have? Because I like that one green and black one that you wear on stream a lot is like such a sick shirt.
I have like 9 or 10 pieces of my own merch.
That's sick, dude. I love that. I love that.
Really what it is I want to order a sample. I want to order everything that I put out to make sure it's going on being quality. And that's because I don't want to sell anything to anybody that I wouldn't buy myself.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And that's super reasonable. So yeah, good way to put it.
I've put out a lot of merch that I've taken off because it wasn't good.
Jeez, man. I don't know where the best place to actually get good merch is. I know that Mel's looked into it, but yeah, it's tough. I thought Teespring was good. Steve says he's got 23 pieces of Poke merch. Well, it's not a bad thing, you know. Your whole wardrobe is Poke merch. All right, man. Let's do a couple questions as we wrap up here, looking towards the future, because we've talked about how bright it is for you, and we've also talked about how you very much like to do that. What do you want? What would you ask the universe for, if we're gonna put it in this way? What do you want to bring into your life in this next this next little while here as you step into new beginnings? What's the one thing that you want kind of to gravitate towards yourself and then people in your life?
A more healthy mindset towards like everything I do, because there are a few things that I do that just I don't have a healthy mindset towards, and that's something I want to change and work towards. Yeah, and that's so. Is it the mindset in the ways that you go about doing things and the things that motivate you to do those things, not being healthy? There are some things that I'm like, well, that's going to take too long and there's no point doing it. you know, in the end, I need to focus on what's important to me now and what's going to be important to me in the future, and
Yeah,
um,
absolutely.
work towards that goal mutual, like to bring in a mutual, you know, understanding in myself and where I'm at now.
Yeah.
So
Now, is there one
better
thing?
mindset.
Is there one thing that you've been wanting to do that has, you know, you've been stopping yourself from doing because of a poor mindset? Or is there anything that you're doing right now that is that thing that you've been pushing through?
Not necessarily, but it's more of like I don't like at the point I don't see a point in doing it,
Right.
and I that's a hard question.
It is hard.
It's a
And
very
you don't
hard
have
question.
to have an answer to it either, right? You don't. It's
Yeah,
a new concept
it's
for you too.
it's just I want to push myself to be better than what I am. Well, that's my goal tomorrow, is to be better than I am today.
Hey man, that is the goal. And like honestly, this just goes to show that like there is always room for improvement, right? And there's that idea that we are perfect in the way that we are, and I would say that to you, in that you're already freaking incredible in almost every way that you can be. But the fact that you're still striving to grow in many of those areas is super inspirational, and I think that's such a good outlook, and there's so much, that's such fertile ground for you to be growing what's next for you. So I love that, man. I love that. But dude, I don't have too many more questions for you here. We're coming right up on that hour mark. That's kind of where we want to end up. Is there anything else that you want to discuss, or you want to bring up before we wrap her up?
So, what brought you to Twitch, Win?
Oh,
Because
okay.
you asked me, but I've never asked you. What brought you to Twitch?
What brought me to Twitch? Okay, so what actually brought me to Twitch is a couple of the people from like my favorite YouTube channel left the channel and started streaming on Twitch, and I was like just watching the replays of their streams on YouTube, and then realizing that there was all these moments when I wanted to be interacting too. So I'm like, oh fuck, I'll just actually go to Twitch and check it out. So I think I was there kind of watching on Twitch a little bit because of that. And then I realized that it was when Modern Warfare 2019 came out. I played that game all year, like so much of it.
Good.
Yeah, it was so good. So good. Such a good Call of Duty. And there was a time when I'm just like, wow, like I need to, if I'm going to be doing this much, I need to make it productive in some form or fashion. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to start streaming when I game. And that way I can game and stream and be productive and work towards something. And that's what started me streaming. So like I really wasn't like a chatter. I was a streamer right from the start.
That's really cool, because that takes a lot of guts, because like you're just went straight into it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
That's wild. Like you didn't know what to expect from all of it. Like that's
No.
crazy.
No, dude, that's
crazy.
That's for sure the crazy part, right? Like there's so much you just like didn't know you were going to go through as a streamer. And yeah, that's for sure the nuttiest thing. And like even my experience with playing games and streaming, it's so different from what I had expected. But in a really good way, right? Like it's just, that's why I like to ask people what the challenge is that come with streaming for them, because I've just realized how much were presented to me. So yeah, I love that question, and thanks for asking me that back, because it's
And then
super cool to share.
I got one more quick question for you.
Yeah, for
So
sure, man.
being a streamer, you know, do you feel like when you're playing games in your off time where you're not streaming, do you feel like you're wasting content by any chance?
Yeah, all the fucking time, dude. Yeah.
Like it's a constant struggle. Like I wish I were streaming that, because like something cool really happens. You're like, oh, that would have been really cool to share with people.
I know, man. I know. It's a blessing and a curse, because it's done all this incredible stuff for us, but it's also ruined my ability to enjoy gaming. Because I'm like, well, I want to play this game, like, and experience it, but I need to stream it. And so it becomes this thing where I don't even play the game at all because I don't want to stream it and not experience it in the way that I should, but then I don't want to experience it without streaming it, and it's just freaking brutal.
and like, I kind of speak for myself here, but I want to get your point of view on it. Because, like, when I play a game for the first time, I want to play it for me. But, like, at the same time, I want to experience with other people. So, like, it's... Because streaming, it doesn't... Half the time, it feels like it's not for you. The way I've seen it is it's not really for you. Mm-hmm. It's for other people. And... when I play a game for the first time, especially a single player game, I want to play through it myself for the first time. And, but also there's so many moments that you just like, I've done that and I'm like, man, I could have been streaming it when it was such a good stream. Like,
oh, dude, I know. I think you have the right approach, though. I think you do, because like I was saying, you just don't experience the game in the same way when you're streaming it. Because like you said, you touched on it so well. It's not for you. It's for other people. It really is. Fuzzy goes, should have been recording. Yeah.
I've actually started recording all of my Apex matches just in case, like, I want to share with anybody.
Really? Even if you're just chilling out, you're still recording it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's super funny. I mean, even like me too, as like, I don't know, a content creator. I don't even know what to like, how to even like embody that identity anymore. Actually, well, I want to ask you though, like, how much does being a streamer, or how has your identity of yourself as a streamer changed over time? Where does it go moving forward for you? Because like, I'm trying to find that in myself too.
It really depends on how successful it becomes, right? Like, at first you're like, yeah, sure, I stream, whatever, and then like you start gaining a little bit of traction. You're like, yeah, I stream. Like, I some people ask you about it. You're like, yeah, here it is, all the information. Like, you're really stoked about it.
Yeah.
It all comes to you as like how successful it's becoming and how it's all going. Because you really don't want to see people see you in your slumps, right? Like, you're like, when you're having a bad stream, you don't really want to see people to see that. Like,
I know. I think that's one thing that I haven't even admitted to myself, to be honest, is it kind of sucks. It sucks for you when you have those bad streams and it's quiet and there's nobody there, but it sucks to think about how, I've been here and now I'm struggling, and how that looks from an outside perspective, I think.
Yeah. So it all depends on how things are going at the time, in my opinion. Is like what you identify yourself as. Because like, when I didn't stream for consistently at all, it was, I play games and I stream sometimes. I wasn't really a streamer. I didn't call myself a streamer. Yeah. So it was, I play games, I stream sometime.
Yeah. That's not bad still. That's not bad, because even for me, man, I think I've let go of the idea of my stream being anything huge, and I think it comes partially from a realization that it's tough to find that balance. It's tough to truly find the time needed to dedicate to it.
Well, and you got bills to pay, you got to work on yourself, you got to work on, there's a lot of things you got to work on, and that's sort of why I just kind of do it in the moment. Like, yeah, I have time and I feel like streaming, I'm gonna stream. That's just the way it works. I think so. What brought me into my slump, like what really got me inconsistent, was I was streaming every night, every day.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And I burnt myself out, and it was if I didn't feel like streaming, I would message my Discord and be like, hey guys, no stream tonight.
Yeah, for sure.
And it like, in the end, how I ended up feeling like I got burnt out was, it was like, it felt like a chore to stream, like something I had to do.
It was obligation, right? And in that same sense that you say that streaming isn't always for yourself, it's for the other people. Sometimes that obligation becomes a little bit too much bigger of a weight to handle. Yeah,
it becomes bigger than what you intended it to be.
Yeah.
But Yeah, identity comes with how successful it is, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's fair, man. That's fair. And I think for me, we've talked about how you watch those numbers, you watch it go up and down, and that sucks. And the times that it's good, you feel good. You're a streamer, you take on part of that. You take on part of that moniker of being someone who's found some success in doing what you're doing. And then when it's down, it sucks. And now with my new reapproach to with just realizing that I need to find certain balance in my life, I very much taken the approach of when I do stream and when I've gotten back into streaming, it's simply to connect with the people who have found their way in my life. And I think much the same is true for your side of things. And
yep, that's absolute fact.
Yeah. That's
such a good time.
What it is moving forward, and that's why like I'm so thankful that you were on here doing this with me, man, because you are one of those really true, meaningful connections that have happened on this journey that we've both been on, man. And so thank you for that, and thank you for encouraging me to do this episode with you too, man, because
absolutely, it's been a blast. And but it's something I've wanted to do for a long time.
Yeah, dude, I love that.
Since you announced the concept of When's Friends, I was like, oh, I want to be on that so bad.
Dude, I love that so much. I love that. And in the moment when I'm like hardly streaming, I haven't done one forever, you're like, let's do it. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. That sounds great. So, dude, thank you for that. That's great. Aren't you the guy I saw yesterday? What's up, Bray? When you're amazing, Fuzzy, thank you. So are you, though. And so is Cyanide. I mean, like you two, I think you two were my first subs, which is crazy. Absolutely
you can actually
crazy.
Check that, by the way.
Oh, how do you check that? I don't know how to check that.
I'll give you a link.
Okay. That's super funny. Bray, how's it going, buddy? Me and Sai have been chatting for a little over an hour here about life, dude, and it's been freaking great, man. It's been freaking great. And Bray, I hope your day is going well. Sai's like a 4 out of 10. Pretty good. Okay. Yeah, that's where. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Nothing happened. Just mods deleting the toxicity out of the chat. That's good stuff. Yeah.
Kind of just me deleting the toxicity.
Yeah. Guys guesting and modding at the same time. A man of many talents. Oh man. But yeah, I think that's kind of near the end. That's all I've got for you, man.
Well, this was a blast. I had such a good time.
Yeah, dude. Thank you for being on here. This is great. You were a fantastic guest. Thank you for being so open too. And I'm stoked I learned a little bit more about you that I hadn't. So this has been super great.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal time.
Thank you for watching too, you guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for popping in here. I know I haven't been streaming super regularly, but you guys being here means a lot. And thank you for that raid too, Crystal. That meant a lot too. You guys were all great. We'll see you again soon enough, I'm sure. All right, guys. Thanks again for another awesome episode of When's Friends.